Welcome to Disaster Party Podcast. As always, this is Rob Cedeno, joined by my co-host.
Oh, whoa, Daddy, it's your boy Andy Bivians. It's Bivians, for I am the one true, whoa, Daddy of professional wrestling. And listen, tonight we got the Christmas key because we're on episode 53. Whoa, Daddy.
Whoa, you didn't do the INC.
I didn't. I didn't.
Wow, this is whew, what a day. What a way to start off year two.
Right?
Getting rid of the INC.
Making upgrades, baby. Nah.
No, it's okay. I'm just fucking with you anyway. So Andy, it is the week of giving, or it just passed, and now it's the week of greed and taking.
And yeah.
How is your week of giving now taking? Are you taking as much as you gave?
The week of giving was great, and the week of taking was still giving.
Okay,
I didn't take this year. I
me
just
either.
gave. I gave till I had nothing to give left.
There you go.
Yeah.
How was it? Did you do anything fun and exciting?
Um, I went and saw my mom's old college friend. So we
Okay.
hung out at their house, ate a lot of food. Um, the turkey they made was absolutely fantastic. A little more than I needed to. And then we sat down and we watched old American Idol videos. Not like the winners who are fantastic, but them week one videos where you get all the horrible people who sing. You think they could sing and then have major meltdowns. So that was funny. And yeah, just spent time with them, spent time with the fam. Um, what about you?
Uh, let's see. Went to the father-in-law's for Thanksgiving, so that was cool. Found out some things that I'm not sure if I've processed them enough to share with you on the podcast. I could tell you afterwards.
All right,
But
all right.
little craziness that I'm still like, is this real life or is this fake? I still
Are they
can't
good
decide.
things or are they bad things?
Yeah. Yeah, but besides that, it's just pretty as normal as it could be.
Okay.
Definitely didn't do any Black Friday shopping, and I will not be doing any Cyber Monday shopping. Well, there's one thing I might buy.
Oh yeah.
It's a Bitcoin ugly Christmas sweater.
I feel like you could already have that
I do not. But let me
arsenal.
see if I can find it on my uh, thing, and I will show you. Aha!
Okay.
Found it real quick. Look at that.
Boom.
Look at that.
That's fantastic.
It is Santa Claus and Rudolph with Bitcoin laser eyes.
I feel again. I reiterate my statement. I feel like that should already be in your closet. Twice it.
Well, it will be mine soon. It will be mine soon.
Screams Bitcoin Rob.
Bit. Okay, we can jump into that. So, there is actually one thing I might be buying, which most likely will be buying. Um, if you didn't notice that the whole crypto market, stock market, every single market crashed on Friday. Hmm. A lot of people say, hey, it's November, and a lot of November is not great. Um, but guess what? They crashed. All of it crashed really, really hard. Bitcoin hit like 53,000. Everything else crash, 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 crash. It was a Black Friday sale, and it might be a Cyber Monday sale. So if you're gonna buy anything, why not buy something like an asset that will make you money in the future and not cost you money? Guess what happens when you buy a pair of shoes? Those shoes
They last you forever and ever and ever, and they go up in value because your feet get so much better.
No. Those shoes will go down in value so fast that they will be worthless within 5 minutes of you walking out the store, and you're gonna wear and tear them. But something like Bitcoin will only get more valuable.
Oh,
But a lot of people are saying that, not to get into all this, but a lot of people are saying that a lot of the markets crash due to the fear of this new COVID variant that they're saying is like 50 times more contagious.
I feel like it's just
I guess they're saying that the Delta variant had, I guess, three different mutations on the spike protein or something like that. And this one has 50 plus mutations on the spike protein. So people were saying that Delta was like super contagious, and the fact that this has like 50 or more uh, mutations on one spike protein shows that it's going to be that much more contagious and dangerous. Believe what you may. I'm just telling you what I read. If you don't believe in COVID, you're silly. But if you believe in COVID and you think it's almost over, like myself, I might have to take a second guess on that one. I should get my tinfoil hat on, right? Um,
I'm about to turn the Shane up in here. Look at that. There are no survivors.
there are no survivors. So the video game news, I try to look up stuff this week. There wasn't a lot. Everything that I see is just like deals for Cyber Monday and Black Friday, and I'm a little confused by that. But there was nothing. I mean, there's a bunch of games on sale. Like the Guardian of the Galaxy game is like 35% off right now. So if you guys, I almost bought it. I thought about it, and I was like, when am I gonna have time to play?
That's insane because that literally just came out.
Yeah, like last month.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I didn't see anything with games. I did, however, in movies, and I meant to bring this up last week and I completely forgot. Uh, the first Halo teaser
Oh, the TV show.
trailer. Yeah, I didn't know there was a show coming out, and then I saw the trailer and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of dope." And then The Rock also put out a trailer for his new DC superhero Super Wonder Pets
Hmm.
United. What is the name of it? It is the DC League of Super Pets,
Yeah. So
starring The Rock.
it's basically like the movie Pets, which Kevin Hart is in, but pets with superpowers.
Facts.
So in Pets, Kevin Hart is a bunny or a rabbit that thinks he has superpowers, but he doesn't.
And he's in this one too.
Yeah, as a dog.
um, I mean, it looks good. The trailer looked pretty cool. Superman looks weird and sounds weird.
Hmm.
Um, um, yeah, I'll probably still watch it though. Um,
Might wait for it to go on demand.
it'll probably come out on a streaming service.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna run to go see that.
Zack Snyder still throwing out hints here. I don't know what he's doing to us. But Zack Snyder put up a little picture on Instagram, wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving. But in the background, if you look at the picture, there is a binder, or what looks like a binder, and it has the words "Final Crisis" on it. As Zack Snyder and DC fans know, that would have been Justice League's second installment. So people are wondering if he's still working on it or if he's like kind of just trolling the internet. But I'll watch it. I'm just saying.
I would definitely watch it. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been teasing for a while too, and it's just like, again, even when we did the Army of Dead, like apparently, and that's the, my God,
The
the
film
safe.
series.
There was like the Justice League shit in there.
Well, I don't know. Like, I don't know at this point because he blatantly wanted to keep Green Lantern a secret, which is why they switched out Green Lantern for Martian Manhunter in Justice
Mm.
League. Spoiler alert. But they wanted to keep him a secret because if they used him in the show that they were supposed to do, then he wanted to reveal them there. But then he just revealed them out of nowhere. I was like, yeah, this is the plans we had. It doesn't matter now. It's kind of like, what the hell?
Um, Speaking of superheroes, have you caught the first two episodes of Hawkeye yet?
I have not, but over Thanksgiving, a couple of friends were talking about it, and there's one scene that I can't wait to see because the way they explained it was absolutely hilarious.
I've watched them both, and I don't know what scene you're talking about.
Okay, so apparently, I'll say it, semi not, no, it's not really a spoiler because it doesn't pertain to the main. He goes to go see a play
Yes.
which is about the Avengers. And he's sitting down and he's watching this play, and he's like, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen." And it's supposed to be a play on him and all the Avengers in New York.
Mhm.
So apparently, because one of my friends does like video and film for like big production companies, they were saying how they hired like on Broadway company to build that to have that scene play out in the movie, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it all sounds funny, that entire scene.
Yeah, and then
That's
Ant-Man's in it, and he goes, "He wasn't even there."
I'll have to watch that
Yeah, it was
once I
pretty funny.
finish The Office.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun.
You know how many times like I want to text a group about something funny that happened, then I realize it's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, it's not a good time. I'll do it in the morning, and then I completely forget.
Yeah. All right. So, for I guess sports and wrestling, there's not much going on. It's just the regular weeks. The CM Punk MJF promo was pretty wild on Dynamite. Apparently, Johnny Gargano signed a 1 week extension. WWE or NXT contract, a 1 week extension to make it to make it through War Games. Rumor is he is out, Audi 5000. There, Kyle O'Reilly apparently his contract's coming up. Kevin Owens' contract is coming up. A lot of guys' contracts are coming up around the same time. So I guess we'll see where that comes. Uh, and so you talked about it. In 2 weeks, we have an Office Revisited episode. Andy, you have 2 weeks to finish. How far are you right now?
A little past halfway.
Do you want to go and actually find the episode and season?
Let's see. Let's see. Let me pull up my handy dandy.
Peacock?
Peacock.
Peacock? Let's see.
That's normally not right, but let me just double check. It looks like it is season
Mm,
season
mm,
5,
Season 5?
episode 7.
You have 4 seasons left. Four. Good luck, Andy. That's all I could tell you.
The
Good luck.
power is with me.
The power
Not
is with you.
really.
And then, we kind of stalled you from watching The Office because we watched a movie that we're going to talk about today. I don't know how in depth this movie review is going to be because there wasn't much to this movie.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna ask you before I give my opinion. What did you think about this said movie?
Are you talking about 8-bit?
I'm talking
8-bit
about
Christmas?
the bit of a Christmas.
That is currently on HBO Max?
Oh, which took me forever to find that because for some reason I thought it was on Netflix.
Starring Neil Patrick Harris.
What?
What?
Daughter? What?
Let me see. How do I explain what my opinion was for this movie? I didn't think it was terrible. Um, I could see it was a mixture of Christmas Story, and I could see some like outrageous takes that would be from Elf, which this was from the creators of Elf. I could see this becoming a Christmas repeat for children, but it definitely was more nostalgic for adults.
100% nostalgic for adults. Um, I don't think I'd watch this again.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be a lot funnier than it was. I mean, it had its moments here and there, but I can definitely see how it could be a Christmas special movie. I don't think it'll be on repeat like a Christmas story, but definitely like this generation's Christmas story. But the way it all played out was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It like left something for me. I don't know how to explain it.
Um, you know what I also like? If you've ever seen those Diary of a Wimpy Kids
Yes,
movies, I think it was like a combination of that and the Christmas Story.
I could see that.
Because it was like children based, but with like weird, like quirky characters that didn't almost didn't seem real.
I believe that. I believe that.
But then you
Uh,
can also go that he was telling a story, which a story from like 30 years, so maybe he was exaggerating some of the attributes of his friends to make
sure.
them seem more of a character than a person.
Well, you saw his helmet change colors in the beginning of the story.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was wearing a helmet. It's cool. I just
Oh,
right.
it was the 80s. We all wore helmets.
Everybody wore helmets.
Um, so let's just run into it. Again, it's not gonna be super detailed because there wasn't like a lot of detail to this movie. It was just kind of like a little bit of an enjoyable ride down the 80s kind of twist, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to start or you want me to start.
So the beginning, if I remember correctly, his daughter really wanted a cell phone. He was like begging her dad, begging her dad. He was like, "You're not getting, a cell phone. You're not getting a cell phone."
And the
And
dad
then
was Neil Patrick Harris.
yeah, and then they sit down and they start playing Nintendo, and it's funny because he's like, "Here, blow on this." She's like, "Why?" He's like, "I don't know. It's just what we do." Which anybody who's ever owned a Nintendo or a Sega Genesis knows, you just have to blow in it to make it work.
Yup.
And even on the back of the cartridge, it says, "Warning: Do not blow in the cartridge." Well, so then he starts telling her, like, how his parents wouldn't allow him to have a Nintendo. She was like, "Well, how did you get it?" And then he goes into this story, which brings him somewhere around 85, 88. Maybe the late 80s.
And he pops in Paperboy
Yes,
into the Nintendo, and it shows him playing the game, and then as he's telling the story, it almost puts you into the perspective of Paperboy, and it's him as a child.
as he's riding to his friend's house, which takes 8 minutes if the road is unplowed.
Yes.
But as he starts explaining this, like you just see him wearing a hat. And he's like, "Oh, you were wearing your helmet?" And he was like, yeah." And then it turns into like a blue helmet.
Mhm.
Like, was it green? He's like, "Yeah, it was green." And then turns again. Um,
And
then
they end up at this kid's house. Again, the characters' names I will not be able to tell you any of them. They end up at this kid's house who apparently is like a rich kid, bratty kid who has severe anger issues. And I guess this kid got a Nintendo. And all the kids go to this kid's house and he comes out like a hot shot. Like he comes out as if he's like about to, give a big speech to a bunch of people like, "Hello, yes, I am the master. I have a Nintendo." So he comes out all like crazy like that and he ends up just picking a couple people, a couple of the kids because there's a bunch of kids outside playing or outside wanting to play with his Nintendo. So he invites a bunch of the kids in. They all go in. They're like, "Oh, this is cool." I guess he has a pool table and all this stuff downstairs, and all the kids are really excited and blah blah blah. But this bratty kid is playing not Duck Hunt, another game that requires the gun, and he's like, "All right, loser hands over," and this kid is literally like the gun is up against the TV, so he's basically cheating, and all the other kids are like, "Well, we're not gonna end up playing. We're not gonna end up. We can't play." So the main character, Neil Patrick Harris' character, is Jake, I believe. He is basically like, "All right, I need to get my own Nintendo."
then they go like through the characters like as they're out there, and like two of the characters are twin.
Mhm.
Like the sister gets chosen and her brother's like left out in the cold. And like you could tell this kid's a dick because again he's playing up close to the TV, and he's like, "Oh, anybody want Pop Tarts?" And all the kids raise their hand. He's like, "Mom, make me Pop Tarts." Like, "Okay, honey, how many?" And all the kids throw their hands up, so he starts counting. He's like, "One, just one," and then like walks away. I was like, "Yo, this kid's a dick."
Yeah. So what? They had the twins. Then he had his the I guess your typical like Italian looking kid. Like he had that little bit of an accent, and he was known to be like a pathological liar. Then he had his best friend, and then another kid, and then there was like a super nerdy kid at this point.
I think I have to go home soon.
Yes, yes, yep, that kid. And he literally said, "Yeah, he normally says he has to go home soon." So, like you said, all the kids were downstairs playing the Nintendo, and the twin sister is in there playing, but the twin brother's out at the window going, "Let me in."
And it kind of sucks because they lead it up with like she grows up to be like the CEO of a big business, and he grows up to be her assistant. So like
Yeah,
she into play, and he's like still left out in the cold.
yeah. So after this, Jake ends up going to his house to try to convince his mother to buy him a Nintendo. And he always says, "My mother's really good at multitasking two things, but when it comes to the third thing, she can't handle it." So while she's juggling things, he comes in and goes, "Hey mom, can I get a Nintendo?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, Nintendo." And he's like, "Yes, solid." And yeah, and then his sister comes in and she starts kind of like toying with him. And then the dad comes in and basically says, "No Nintendo."
So he
Because he's
says,
hearing rumors because of violence, right?
well, originally he makes him go do some like housework where he's got to
Oh, he
like
makes him go outside and clean the dog shit.
yeah, yeah. And he was like, "Oh, can I have it? I need something to like make my hands like nimble like yours so I can use the tools." And his dad's like, "Yeah, sure." And then they come in and they sit down for dinner, and then they start like bashing like the game system. Like the mom was like, "Oh yeah, like the kid sat there and played all the time, and blew stuff out of his nose. Like no Nintendo in this house." And he's like, "Mom, you said yes." She's like, "I never said such thing." He was like, "Well, Dad, you said yes." He's like, "No, I didn't." "Well, yes, I did, but no, no Nintendo in my house." And then like the daughter's being like a little brat, and she was like, "Yeah, it sucks for you." And then she says something, and like it's like, ha, she's so funny. While he's
Yeah, oh
sitting
yeah,
there,
because she's like kissing ass real hard.
she's trying to get her doll.
Yep. But you don't know that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
See her putting him down. And he has
Yeah.
it.
So the next scene is when he ends up going to school with the boots, right?
Yes, because he can't. He goes into the classroom and like the teacher yells at him because he has like a puddle of water next to his desk.
Oh, because his mom bought him the purple boots and he was going to school and he's like, I'm not wearing these. And he put on his shoes instead of the boots. So when he got to school, that's why he had the puddle of water under his feet and the teacher yelled at him.
And I think on the way there, you meet the typical school bully of the movie, which they're playing King of the Mountain, which I
Yeah.
remember when I was a kid. And he's just chucking everybody off. He's wearing the Triple H leather jacket with the patches on him, like chucking kids.
He's like
Uh,
4 foot taller than all the other kids.
yeah, he looks like he should be in like ninth grade, while
Yeah, not
everybody else.
like fifth.
Yeah,
Maybe 10th grade. He's definitely in high school.
maybe. So then the kids find out that the rich kid, I'm gonna call him Richie Rich, gets this power glove, this new Super Nintendo power glove. And he's inviting 10 people over, but the catch is you gotta bring a gift with you to be able to get into his house.
Oh,
Everybody,
because remember it was they were at the bottom of the King of the Mountain, and one of the kids, the nerdy kid that has to go home, he had a magazine and he was showing like the Power Glove, and they were like,
yeah,
"All right, we have to keep this to ourselves. We have to keep this to ourselves." And then the rich kid was like pretending that he had a Power Glove and punching, and again, all these kids like this kid because he's the rich kid, so they're all like huddling around him, and he's just punching air,
he just
I
has a
guess.
random glove on, just normal mitten.
And then they were like, okay, we're gonna go to his house, we're gonna get in, blah blah blah. And they were like, all right, don't tell anybody. And the I guess the like I said, the Italian kid who's the pathological liar, he ends up telling everybody. He's like, and they're like, what happened? Why is there so? And there's like hundreds of kids at this guy's house now. The last time there was like 15. Now there's like 200 kids. And the liar kid is like, well, I didn't tell anyone, I swear. Okay, well, maybe I told Mike and Dave and Janet, but that's it. I only told them.
Everybody brings these gifts. This one kid has like a goldfish in a bag. Another the main
His best
character,
friend has a nudie magazine,
yeah, the main character's got
a
salami
sausage, or some kind of meat,
imported. The
gourmet.
the gourmet sausage.
Yeah.
And then the coach is there. He's like, I got cold hard untraceable cash. He's like 50 years old.
Yeah, it's like all like 10-year-olds and then like a 50-year-old guy.
And then the kid, Richie Rich, comes out, and again, he's like, big king on the hill, big world's heavyweight champion comes out, and he's got the glove on, and like he has the cord tucked. So for you guys on YouTube can see this, he's got the cord tucked into his shirt like this, with the on his hand. So he's like, yeah, yeah, like moving his hand like a Power Ranger glove, and so the kid is standing there, and then the little tiny like dog just walks in between his legs and sits down in between his legs and looks around as like he's starting to pick people. And the kid, is starting to pick at people. He's like, "Yo, I brought you a goldfish." He's like, "Yo, get out of here with this goldfish." "Oh, I bought you some gourmet meat." He's like, "I don't want gourmet meat. Get out of here. You're not chosen." So the dog runs around the side of the house, and Neil Patrick Harris character goes around the house and finds that there's like a little like doggy door. He tries to get in, and the dog tries to attack him. He comes out. He remembers he got the gourmet meat. He goes back in, and throws the gourmet meat like across the way, and then like sneaks his way inside the house. That way he can play. Um, I think both the twins, like his whole group, I think gets selected.
Yeah, it
Um,
looks like the whole group's in there. Yeah.
but the sister of the twin gets to play first, and they're playing like this fighting game. He's like, I'm gonna use the glove first. But the sister starts whooping his ass on the game, like just destroying him, and like the glove's not working. And they realize like the glove is a piece of crap. The sister winds up beating him in the game, and this dude goes full blown ape shit. And he starts throwing this big giant meltdown, this big temper tantrum. I turned away when this happened for like 3 seconds, I think, to turn back, and I didn't realize it until they said it. The kid throws like this flying like
Oh, it was
street
like a fucking Liu Kang fucking like side bicycle kick into the fucking TV.
hits the TV, and the TV falls and shatters. So like a hush like comes over, and like the kids are egging him on to like have this full blown meltdown, and everybody's sitting there staring. And then I was like, oh, all right, he broke the TV, like that sucks. And then they were like, yeah, underneath that crashed TV is probably a dead smushed dog.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly the kid kicked the TV and dropped the TV on the sofa
Yep, the dog was in front of the TV and the TV fell to die.
set. It's sad, but it's still funny.
The dog, spoiler alert, the dog didn't die.
No, it's still alive. Actually, the dog plays a big part in this entire movie,
Yeah, bigger than you would expect.
right? So then they leave and they're back at school and they're trying to figure out like what they need to do to get like a Nintendo system, and then the smart kid comes up and shows like this piece of paper, and the bully like snatches it from him. He goes, "This
Oh
has
wait, this is actually when he had the pink boots on. He's hiding behind the dumpster, and his
oh,
best friend comes over and he's like, "What are you doing back here? Come on, we're playing." And he's like, "You got boots on." And then Neil Patrick Harris's character in the future says, "Yeah, it was the 80s and people weren't as accepting to certain fashion sense as they are now. So purple pink boots uh now you could say are guys and girls, but back then they were associated with girls." So his best friend's like, "What are you doing?" And then the nerdy guy runs up with the paper.
and he just intercepts the bully, and the bully grabs it from him. He's like, "What is this?" Because he's like about to beat him. Oh, the bully does catch him with the boots, doesn't he?
Yeah, he catches him in the boots, but then the guy, yeah, the bully comes over. He's like, "I wanted to punch someone's face in," and he picks him up about to punch him. And then the kid comes over and goes, "I know how to get a Nintendo. I know how to get a Nintendo." And then the bully can't read or something. And he goes, "It's you have to read it, dummy."
Apparently, so it's like a Boy Scout thing, and like if you sell enough wreaths, and like the main winner gets a brand new Nintendo system.
Yeah, the first
They'll
place winner. Yeah.
bet. So then you see Neil Patrick Harris's character like starting to try to like sell these wreaths, but then you see like the pathological liar kid come up. He was like, "I just sold 40 today. The one was to your mama." Walks away.
And then you see all these kids just like going house to house trying to sell these wreaths, trying to get like the number one spot. And it shows like how they progressively get better at selling it. Um, and then this is when they end up, Jake is the main character, ends up back at his house and he's struggling to sell the wreaths. And his sister, who again doesn't seem to like him, but is like, "Hey, if you help me, I'll help you." And she's like, "Hey, I want a redheaded Cabbage Patch doll with freckles. If you can help me get that, I'll help you sell wreaths." And he goes, "How can you help me sell the wreaths?" And he's like, "Hey, the old folks' home. Old people like to buy things from kids. They have a door that needs a wreath." So he ends up going to an old folks' home and selling wreaths, and he does pretty well. So he's getting excited, all that stuff. Is this before or after the mall when they go to the guy's car?
So this is before they go to the guy's car because they have to. So he goes to the old folks' home. You see him like kind of like hanging out with them, but he's like listening to their stories. He helps his dude who falls asleep finish a crossword puzzle.
And
He
feed
tries
somebody.
Guy's like, hold on. Guy takes his teeth out, and then he's like, all right. So he's like, chugga chugga choo choo. Like, eats up the food. And then so he makes his sales, but then they wind up, going to the mall for like the family Christmas shopping day.
Mm.
Walking through the mall, and Jake's trying to put all of the
Oh,
feelers.
hints.
Yeah, like, hey, this mall has the most Cabbage Patch dolls. Like, it'd be awesome. And it's funny because his dad's like, does he want a Cabbage Patch doll?
And even his mom's like, "Wait, weren't you obsessed selling wreaths? Now you're obsessed with Cabbage Patch dolls?"
Yeah. So then they get there, and like all the Cabbage Patch dolls are sold out. So like the daughter is kind of like devastated. She's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you made a Build a Bear or like
Oh,
uh
not a Cabbage Patch. It was another doll similar to that from the 80s. I cannot remember the name.
she's like, I don't want that. She just starts crying. And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Yo, watch your sister." And he looks up, and there's a Nintendo system. Like back in the day, like I think GameStop still has this. Where you go and you'd have like the system in like a big plastic case, but you're able to like play the demos that are there. You get to like test it out. Apparently, it was like one of those. But like the Nintendo system is talking to him like the couch in the toilet did on Pee Wee's Playhouse.
It was
He's
like, "Jake, come play me. You're the best. You know you want me. Your sister's nothing. Forget her. Come play me." It was like, what the fuck?
he laughed so hard. He was like, I got all the games. He's like, all right, let's play this one. I don't have that one.
All right, Super Mario. I don't have that one either. How about Rampage?
Fully loaded already. Which I didn't realize Rampage was a Nintendo game.
Yeah, I thought that came out later than that, but
Pretty sure it did because I remember buying that and playing it for PlayStation.
yeah, it might have been the original. I don't know. I know it was for Game Boy, but I guess maybe. Um, so then he ends up playing Rampage and I guess doing really well, and a bunch of kids start like watching him around and cheering him. But then again, he's a kid and his imagination is thinking that everyone in the mall is cheering for him, and he gets really absorbed into it. And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah! Oh my God, yeah, yeah, yeah!" And then his dad comes out of nowhere, "Jake, where's your sister?" And he's like not paying attention, and he gets yelled at again. But in this moment, he ends up dropping his retainer.
He like takes it out and just starts screaming. He's like, "Pop, yeah!" And then oh,
And then like his dad scares him, and he's like, "Oh, oh, oh!" And so they start looking for his sister. They find the sister outside of the mall, talking to the Santa Claus that rings the bell, looking for like change for the kids or whatever. And he's like, she said something like, "Don't you have any Cabbage Patch dolls in the North Pole or something like that?" And he's
he
like,
was like,
"No."
if they don't have a chimney, how do you get in the back
Oh
door?
yeah.
What if they don't have a back door? The front door. So you're good at picking locks? Yeah, I'm good at picking locks. You know that's a felony, right?
And then Jake finds his sister, and the parents follow. And the dad makes a comment going like, "This is almost as bad as you losing your retainer." And he's like, "Open your mouth." And Jake's like, and he runs back into the mall because he realizes he drops it, and his dad's chasing after him, and his mom's like, "You forgot the one bag," because I guess they left a bag in there. So the dad's chasing after him in the mall, and Jake ends up like sliding through, like someone's mopping the floor, so the floor is wet, and he slides and grabs his retainer off the floor. It's all dirty, and he looks at it, he's like, and then he just pops it in his mouth, and his dad catches up to him, and he's like, "See?" And he's like,
Okay. Okay. Let's go.
um, okay, sorry.
Good.
Oh, I was gonna say, so after that scene, there's like a little, he kind of says, "Hey, I didn't get my Nintendo. My sister didn't get her Cabbage Patch doll, but there was a section of the mall where all old people sit, and I made another 20 sales of wreaths or something like that."
Yeah. Then I think they go to the part where they start giving out the awards for
I-
whoever stole the most wreaths.
Is that before or after they do that plan? See, this all like got
That
confusing.
was, that was before because they did the plan because of what happens next.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it.
So they there's like 100 kids sitting there. They're all in like green berets or whatever, and so they start raffling off gifts, and the kid who lies a lot gets a gift, and it's like I think it's like a coupon for something. I forget what he
Ye- It was some paper. Yeah.
yeah. And then the second place goes to I
The
think
twin brother.
yeah, and they got a light up globe, and then he just Medusas the globe and throws it in the trash can on his way back, and then
Yeah, so it's like so before we get to the number one place, so basically this whole like Boy Scouts thing, the scout troop or the scout leader is like, so guys, are you excited? Let's talk about all this, and all the kids are like, oh, Reese, and they're just like trying to control the conversation of focus on the goddamn Reese because we don't want to hear anything else. We just want to know who won.
facts. So then they finally get to the number one pick. Number one pick, Jake. He's going up. Like he just won the world title.
Oh, he got so all his friends are excited. Everyone's like jumping around like, yeah, you won.
He can finally play.
And they're like with the most sales ever for this troop.
And then they mention him, and he's like going crazy. They pull they pull the skirt off of it. It's not a Nintendo system like advertised.
Nope.
It's a bunch of encyclopedias. Like that big volume you used to get back in the day with like the door to door salesman will come to your house. I'm pretty sure I actually own that set. Uh, so he's pissed. He's like, "Yo, what happened?"
You see all the kids are screaming. They're like, no, all slow motion. They're all like destroyed. Yeah, it was
The
pretty
bully
funny.
punches the one guy in the stomach, and he's like, "Ooh."
Oh yeah, the bully is in the background and he's not a Boy Scout. And some random guy goes, "Who are you?" And then when the encyclopedia is there, this bully kid again who should be in like high school, who's supposed to be like 10 years old, ends up punching this trooper, this scout leader in the stomach. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
So then they flash back to I guess the night before, and Richie Rich parents are there hosting a meeting talking about how dangerous video games are, and they show like a TV, which the dog was underneath it. Then they show the dog in the hospital, and they show the kid getting pulled away. They're
Like a
like video,
slideshow.
yeah. They're like video game over, no video games in our town, and like the parents are all like, yeah, no video games, boo. So they like ban video games from like the entire town, which is the
Because they're
reason why.
implying that the video games is what caused the dog's injuries, even though it's their bratty son who has anger issues, who lost and ended up breaking his TV on his dog's head.
He just wanted to drop kick a TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then the kids get together and they're at the twins' birthday party. It looks like roller magic, if y'all know.
A skating
And
rink. Yeah, skating. And in the future, Neil Patrick Harris's daughter is like, "What's a skating rink?" And he's like, "Ah, I can't even."
yeah, that hit me.
Dude, there's skating rinks still. I don't know. That was weird. I didn't. I was like, how do you not know about a skating
Not
rink?
many people go, I don't think. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Huh?
I don't know. But so they're all sitting there, they're all miserable, and like the twins are even more miserable because it's their birthday. But they have to share their birthday with Christmas, plus they have to share it with each other. So they're like, "Here's a gift from Grandma. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas. Share with your brother." And she's like, "Ah, all right, it's baseball cards. Who want to open?" And they find a what is it, uh,
Uh, Ripken.
Bill Ripkin, which made me think of Cal Ripken.
I think it was
Um,
his dad.
autograph or not autograph card. It was a card, but like I guess it had like fuck face written on the
On
back.
the bottom of the bat, so it was like an error card because they're supposed to like mask those out.
And apparently it went for like a ton of money. It was like $95 because the
And then
girl
the liar was like, "That's like worth $95. You're a millionaire."
and that's when the kids come up with the plan to sell and buy their own Nintendo system because they're gonna sneak off their school trip. Go and buy the Nintendo system in the mall.
Pretty elaborate plan for a bunch of 10-year-olds.
15-step plan that only took three. So they have the plan in place. They get everybody in place, and once again, the kid tries to get on the bus with sneakers. The teacher stops him. He's changing the boots. Oh no! Before that, the bully sees what's going on because they put their money in like a trapper keeper, and the bully like robs him with a trapper keeper. Then he's got to go put on the purple boots, and now and he's got to sit next to the quote unquote school nerd.
Oh yeah. Super weird kid. He's always hanging out behind the dumpster too.
Yeah, and he's sitting to him, and he's like singing about diarrhea on the bus. And he's like,
And then he's like, "What's your favorite letters?" And he starts reading off his favorite letters, and he's saying it in order. He's like
oh,
K M Q P Z. And I'm like,
yeah, right. So then they're trying to ask like Jake, like, what do we do? What do we do? He's like going to get it back. So he goes back and like the bully like shoves him down or whatever. And the kid looks at the one nerdy kid that's always gotta go home soon. And the nerdy kid that had to go home soon is like in the front of the bus, like talking to the teacher, telling the teacher how he doesn't feel well.
yeah,
And
distracting the teacher.
Jake puts his foot on like the bully's throat and he was like, you're nothing. You're gonna give me back my trapper keeper, or I'm gonna put you in a world of hurt. He, like just kind of like balls up against him,
But
and
he didn't actually have his foot on his throat.
well, it's like his chest
Yeah.
type. Yeah, he's like, okay, okay, and then he looks back and he realizes like the other school nerd is not really a school nerd. He just doesn't care what people think of him. Then he looks at his friend who has to go home soon and gives him the nod. It just throws up all over the teacher, like exorcist projectile vomits all over her. She runs out. They put a jacket over the back of the school bus. They have walkie talkie. They open the back door so that way the alarm doesn't go off. But the jacket like blocks it. The kid drops down and runs towards the mall with the trapper keeper to buy Nintendo.
So real quick, so Jake, the main character, gets pushed down by the bully, and then is like basically like "fuck you, bully." Gets up and kind of gets in the bully's face, and the bully backs down.
Yeah,
Yeah. So then, like you said, they get out of the emergency exit of the back of the bus while the kid is puking. And apparently their whole plan was this kid was going to puke for 7 minutes because he ate like 3 cans of SpaghettiOs. What?
yeah. 3 cans of SpaghettiOs in his stomach ran roughly 7 minutes.
So Jake ends up running into the mall, about to go to the video game store, but the rich kid's mom and his best friend's mom are picketing outside of the video game store, basically saying, "Don't buy video games. Video games are bad." They have a walkie-talkie. The kids do, and Jake is like, "What do I do? So come over." He said something like, "Come and get your mom," and the kid's like, "." So then the pathological liar he jumps out and he goes, "You guys need someone to exaggerate things? I can handle this." And he goes to the payphone. And because again, yes, there's such thing as a payphone in the 80s. He calls the mall and calls like security to get them to do an announcement saying like, "Oh, there is an emergency call for," and it's the rich kid's mom. So they go run to like a wall phone away from the store, and the kid runs in, he grabs the Nintendo, buys it, and he starts running out. It's kind of funny because the lying kid is talking to the mom and is like, "This is your nephew," and she's like, "I don't have a nephew." Uh, I knew that. This is for kids who don't have nephews. Or holiday spirit something. I'm like, what the fuck? And they just stayed on the phone with him for like mad long.
Because he was like, oh, you'll be helping out people who don't have nephews in the holidays. And you're like, you know what? That does make sense. He goes, someone actually believed me. Like we can still hear you.
And they're like, this is harassment.
As he's running into the store in the beginning, he runs past that same Santa that said that told his sister that he had Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah, he picks locks in the beginning. And he's like, "Oh, be careful where you step. There's ice here. You don't want to slip." And he's like, "I got it." So they finally get past it. The parents finally are like, "We had enough of this. We're hanging up." So they hang up and they start walking past. The kid's got the Nintendo. He's running back. It's in like this duffel bag. He sees the parents. This made me laugh just because he sees the parents. He drops down. He crawls in between two people, like one on one side and one on the other. And it's like they didn't see him. He got past them and then just takes off outside of the store. He runs outside. He runs near Santa, and then they're like, "We can still meet you at the stoplight." I think he does like 30 seconds. Kid slips on ice. Nintendo goes flying in the air, drops in the middle of the street, and then the bus runs it over.
And right before that happens, the kids are going, all right, it's a dry heave. He's done. He's dry. He's dry. Get back here. Because the kids stopped throwing up.
So he sits down and he sees the kid, the guy. Oh,
Yeah, we
we
missed that whole part. All right, so finish the bus thing. So the Nintendo gets run over by the bus. All the kids are destroyed. The bus drives off without the kid. Um, But after the original mall trip, when they went and he got yelled at for playing the Nintendo and losing his sister, the dad and Jake end up going to this like sketchy guy's car who has Cabbage Patch dolls, and they basically go, "Hey, we want this Cabbage Patch doll, the redhead, but it doesn't have freckles." And he goes, "Well, the blonde one has freckles," and basically they were trying to like haggle, and the guy's like, "All right, $100." And he's like, "What?" And he had a Nintendo, but the dad just ignored the fact that Jake wanted the Nintendo. Just got his sister the doll.
you know, now that you're saying that, now thinking back about it, why didn't he just go to him? Grab the Nintendo from the trunk, go home, and be good as gold.
But again, he went there with his dad. I'm not sure he knew that this guy was.
Got
Yeah,
the bus takes off. He sits down, and him, Jake, and the random sketchy dude sitting
with
down
the
having.
car, with the car in the trunk. That's like, hey, little kid, weird.
um, and he's like, "Oh, have you said Merry Christmas to anybody? Christmas isn't about things; it's about family and joy and da 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 da." He starts going through this whole spiel, and he's like, "All right, come on, kid, taxi!" Gets this kid a taxi. Kid goes home. I think
Oh,
it's
real
fast.
quick, the guy said, "You're not gonna get what you want this Christmas." And he goes, "But I want my Nintendo. So can I have the Nintendo you have?" And he goes, "Kid, you're not getting what you want this Christmas."
So now it's Christmas morning. They wake up. They're opening presents. The dad gets like a sander or whatever. And like the kids get whatever they want. And then the sister gets her Cabbage Patch doll. Not the one that she wanted. It wasn't the redhead with freckles. It was the blonde one without freckles. But she goes up to Jake and she gives Jake a hug and she goes, "I love you. Thank you." Like that was a cool little tender moment.
Yeah, because she realized that he helped get the doll.
Yeah. The mom's like trying to have a sentimental moment with the kids, but like the dad's using the sander. So she's like, "Can you shut that off?" He was like, "Yo, you bought this for me." She's like, "Yep, moment's over." So he goes to pull on the cord and a box falls out from behind.
From
He's
Uncle
like, "Oh,
Dan.
oh man, it's the exact same size and shape as the Nintendo." Oh boy. So he starts ripping it open, he opens it up, pulls it out of the package, and he finally gets a light bright.
I laughed so hard. I was like, "Oh my god, those toys were cool, but they are no Nintendo." Sorry.
Man, I had a light bright. I loved light bright. Light bright was dope when I was younger. Looking at it now, that's hilarious. Like, and I thought in my mind he was gonna open it up to pull out the light bright to play with it, and it's gonna be a Nintendo.
Mm.
But it
But then he
wasn't.
made some comment that's like, "I'm gonna end up being a middle-aged man with no hair in my mom's basement, making Zelda characters in my light bright." I'm like, "Damn."
He said, "I can never get over this. Ever get over this. Like this was the worst Christmas ever." So then he calls his friends, and all their friends, none of them got a Nintendo. I think he said the kid that lies said that he got a jetpack and a bike, but.
No
can't tell.
Nintendo. Yeah.
Well, they get ready to go to their grandparents' house, and the dad's like, "Yo, you need to go out back and pick up the dog shit behind the shed." And the kid's like, "Are you serious? Like we're about to leave?" He's like, "Nope, you need to go now." So Jake walks out there. He's pissed. He has to pick up some more dog stuff. Oh, fast forward a little bit. When his dad tells him to pick up dog crap the first time, he was like, "When we're done with that, I want you to paint these hockey sticks." And Jake's like, "Why the hell would I paint hockey sticks?" Dad's like, "Just do it." So he's like all mad. He has like paint all over his face and what looks like dog crap all over his shirt when he talks to his sister about the plan. Help her get the doll, him get a Nintendo. Um,
And the
and
dad said, "You can clean up the yard, leave behind the shed."
yeah, so all he does is the front yard, or all he does is the front yard in front of the house. So now he's got to clean up the rest of the stuff behind the shed. So he goes to clean it up, and he's like, "Dad, can you turn the spotlight on? I can't see."
Oh, but
Dad,
before that, I thought this was a funny line. He said, because I never actually cleaned up the dog poop in the backyard. It kind of just looked like a friggin' cookie. This with the snow, it looked like a cookie with chocolate chips in it. It was like a landmines of dog poo.
I don't know if you caught this, but he had a lot of dog shit in his yard. I'm just saying, like a
Hmm.
lot.
For
There's
one dog.
like 100 pieces of crap all over the lawn.
Hmm.
So the dad turns the spotlight on so that way he could see, and he looks up and he sees this beautiful handmade treehouse with the Christmas lights on it, and his face lights up and runs in. He's all excited. He's looking around. He's looking around, looking around. So it hands back to Neil Patrick Harris and his daughter. He's like, she's like, "Oh, so is this when you got the Nintendo?" He was like, "Nope, didn't get it here either." But then you see a moment with him and his dad in the treehouse, and he lifts up the trap door to get inside, and you realize it's the hockey sticks that his dad had him paint for.
Hmm.
He has him carve his initials into the stuff because he's like, you always want to put your initials into everything you create. And then they
So
have
it's
that,
JJ.
yeah. So they have that moment, and then it's now Neil Patrick Harris and his daughter, and they're talking in the treehouse, and she's like, "So when did you get your Nintendo?"
Oh,
He's
wait,
like,
wait.
"Go
So
ahead."
when he's talking to his dad, because this was kind of like a touchy moment, when he was talking to his dad about when he was sitting in the treehouse, he starts to talk about like all the things he could do with his friends in the treehouse and like the memories he as a kid was looking forward to making in the treehouse. So you could see that even as a kid, he was now looking at this treehouse as like a thing he could do with his friends other than Nintendo.
That he could be outside and he could smell the fresh air that his dad always told him he had to
Yeah.
go out.
And he was basically like, "Oh, I can play hide and go seek with this person and look at the stars with this person and talk about conspiracy theories with this person." Like he kind of broke down each of his friends and like what he would do with them.
Yeah,
And then they were showing a photo of like him, his dad, and all his friends like on the balcony of the treehouse.
just hanging out
Yeah.
with all pictures, like the picture of his dog and like other pictures of his friends and stuff that were like on that wall. Then his Neil Patrick Harris, Jake's mom comes back. She's like, "Oh, grandma's home," and like she's like, "Oh, you got to come in for dinner." So Neil Patrick Harris and his daughter go inside and they
You didn't
start talking.
explain what he said in the treehouse though.
Oh, which part?
When he said how he actually got the Nintendo.
Oh, that's right. So he never got it for Christmas. He actually had to work. Well, I forgot what he said he was doing though.
He said he worked with his grandfather and he had to earn it. He had to earn it by working with his grandfather, but he bought it himself.
Yeah, she's like, "I'm not getting a phone in mine."
Nope.
Now they're inside. They're all eating, and she's like, "I get the point of your story, Dad." And he goes, And she was like, "You found your thing to do with your father, Grandpa." It takes a moment. and he kind of looks around and he sees you see like the different stuff in the house that his dad was working on has J&J initials on all of it.
Yeah, like all over the house. Like you see all these different things.
He's like, yeah, I guess you're right. And it's Neil Patrick Harris, his daughter, his sister, who got the Carriage Patch Kid, and her son, or her.
Yeah, actually didn't know if that was his wife or not. They didn't really specify.
I think that was his sister because they talked about the boots.
Maybe. I thought she was making fun of the fact that his daughter was saying that he had boots.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, so that was a little confusing to me, honestly.
I thought it was the sister because of this next part
Okay.
where so even before that the daughter is kind of like, oh, dad did this and this, and like she's going on like a rant because in the beginning of the movie she didn't want to hear the story. At the end of the movie she's like, this story is so cool. And then as you look around you see Neil Patrick Harris, his daughter, what possibly is either his sister or his wife, and another child. You see his mom, and then you see another shot, and it's the chair with his dad's lucky cup, which apparently was disgusting, and they wanted to throw out his dad's lucky cup. His dad's not sitting in the chair, so I guess it implies that his dad passed away.
Yeah.
And then I think that's the end of the movie, right?
Yeah, so they basically just show that his father was implied dead and how he like you could see Neil Patrick Harris getting like sad and he actually said thank you to his daughter because the story reminded him of his dad.
Yeah,
And then yeah, pretty much that was the end of the movie.
it was. I like I said, I thought it was a good movie. I thought the whole premise definitely threw me off. Like the ending, I don't know. The ending got me for sure. But the whole like, I thought it was around 10. Like you know what I mean? Like there was no,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I
It like there was something missing.
yeah, I agree. Like they did build the whole movie around the fact that he was going to get a Nintendo. And then I guess the whole point of the movie was to show, hey, even though you want the Nintendo, which you would be happy with, but something like a treehouse and the bonding time with your family or your father is is something that you will treasure forever, and which is why he looked around at all the things that him and his dad created, and that even his daughter, when they went into the treehouse, in the present day, she said, "This is my favorite spot at Grandpa and Grandma's house."
Oh, and she also says, "Can we use some of Grandpa's tools to help refurbish the treehouse?"
Yeah,
Or kind of like a continuation on like a tradition, so to speak. They're
yeah.
bonding.
So it did play the whole movie as a kid who I wouldn't say he was sounding selfish, he just knew what he wanted and he was actually working to get it. Like it wasn't like this bratty kid that was like, gimme, gimme, gimme. Like he busted his ass to sell the wreaths and he made this plan that him and his friends were gonna buy it and it just so happened that it slipped and broke. Like so it wasn't like he was like trying to steal it or anything. Like he legitimately was trying to get it with real money and real effort. It's just at the end, he never got what he wanted, but he realized that what he got, which was the treehouse and time with his dad, was at the end of the day way more important because he built the story up like he got that Nintendo for Christmas.
Yeah,
And obviously he did not. He built that story up to show the relationship he had with his dad and what started what seems to be a very important relationship between him and his dad, like for the rest of his life.
I thought it was a good movie. Would
Yeah,
I necessarily watch it over and over again? Probably not. But it did have a cool point to it. It did have a cool story. I thought it's worth a watch at least once.
yeah. It was better than Home Alone, the new Home Alone.
So it's funny you said that because I won't watch it because I've heard you talk about
Oh yeah, this
it.
movie I thought like it was cool seeing the nostalgia. It was cool like with the kids like doing all their goofy stuff and selling and all that other stuff. And then it did have a heartfelt message at the end, which again as a father kind of made me be like, "Oh, like those are cool moments that I can't wait to have," you know? Um so like those things were cool. Again, I wouldn't say this is like a 10 out of 10 kind of movie. It was probably like a 6 or a 7 just to kind of it it was a Christmas movie with kids with a lot of nostalgia with the 80s. Had core values in it with the overall storytelling and then the family values at the end. Like I think this was an overall good family kid friendly movie that showed because even now that kind of is the same kind of thing if you think about it. A lot of kids like to play video games and want video games more than family time, so it's still, even though it was based in the 80s and based around the Nintendo, it still kind of works for today.
Yeah.
So I thought it was like, again, not anything I'm gonna be like, yeah, let's go watch this like every year like we watch Elf or something like that, but it was good, and I think it could, I think it could possibly make the rounds. I don't think this is going to be like people are just going to watch it once and it's never going to be watched again. I think it's going to be a good enough movie that it does make the rounds.
I think it'll be inserted into the, like you said, into like the Christmas rotation.
Yeah.
I don't think all day play like Christmas Story.
No, no, or like Elf or like any of those other movies or Santa Claus and like stuff like that.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it yet, but you liked our review, you think it's something you do want to see. I don't know why this just popped in my head. It's a good movie to watch Christmas Eve after dinner with some cookies and some milk with your family around. Lights off, lights off. That will be playing. I think I would have a good feel, a better feel to it.
Yeah, and it's only an hour and a half, so it's not even like a long watch. And it's like a good feel good kind of kid quirky semi comedic movie with some big actors in it.
Facts.
Yeah, nothing too crazy, but
And that was 8-Bit Christmas.
and that was 8 Bit Christmas. Yes, it was. So if you guys have any feedback or when you listen to this and you think everything that we said is dumb, let us know in the comments. Let us know in and all that stuff. So for some upcoming episodes, we actually have a lot of our episodes planned out between now and after the new year. The only episode that we do not have right now, up until almost the end of January, is next week. But we are working on that. It seems like we have a couple different options right now. We've messaged people. We've asked for feedback on Instagram and Facebook stories. So if you see that story and you have an idea, let us know. So next week is up in the air, but we have things working. The week after that, we have our Office Revisited episode, meaning that Andy has 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks to watch four more seasons of The Office. This episode is going to be with Shawnee D and Brent, and it seems like we're going to try to play a little bit of a Office trivia. So we'll see how Andy does with that. It should be a very entertaining episode if you know what I'm saying. The episode after that is December 19th. It is when we record on Sundays. We are going to try, this is going to be an attempt here, to go and see Spider Man No Way Home either the Friday, Saturday, or Sunday before we record so we could talk about it. Again, it might not be super detailed because I don't know how if we can write notes in the movie theater or not, but I think we're going to try to review it because I am fucking hyped about this movie.
Right. Let's go. Multiverse.
Let's
Doctor
go.
Strange. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. The episode after that is the day after Christmas, and that is going to be a horror Christmas film review with Shawnee D and Brent, and they are going to choose this movie. We've asked them what movie they're going to pick. They haven't told us, but they're going to have to tell us soon because me and Andy are going to have to watch it.
I'm excited.
That should be interesting. So now jumping to 2021, see how fast it's coming. We're gonna do a 2020, or no, 2022. Sorry, we're gonna do a 2021 highlight episode to start the year, January 2nd. After January 2nd, we have January 9th, and I know this is coming out a few weeks before this, but we have a couple things already stacked in. Is we're gonna do the review of the new Matrix movie.
Mr. N.
Mr. Anderson. And after that, we have a couple other surprises coming, a couple other guests coming up. We have a couple other possible Know Thy Neighbors, and some other fun topics. So tune in as always. Remember to like, share, review, comment, and subscribe to Disaster Party Podcast on all social media platforms, including the YouTube, and including giving us a five, 5-star rating on any and all podcast apps. We appreciate that and we are thankful.
As always.
This is Rob Sedadio.
Oh, whoa, daddy, it's Andy Vivian.
And we are out. Bye.